Hello and welcome to my stream, and hello to Nova the Red Witch, who's already said hello on the chat. I'm that last the countdown song is something I wrote a few years ago, and it was about a friend of mine who I really liked, and she died a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't going to get emotional, but the phrase "you're not at home" in the song was meant to mean you're not here with me when I'd like you to be, but it now takes on a slightly darker meaning that I hadn't really thought about, and I wish I hadn't listened to it now because it's actually upset me, but never mind. So I'm here today to talk about some writing. I'm just going to have a quick sip and try not to get emotional, excuse me. Definitely shouldn't have listened to that whilst I was preparing. Yeah, so what I'm here to do today is I will be recording my podcast in a bit. Might even get that done for. I need to think of a topic first. And I'm going to continue to write my little piece of Doctor Who and the Bill crossover fan fiction. It's a story in a collection of stories called 6040. As I've explained before, it's called 6040 because I started writing it last year, and last year was the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. And also the 40th anniversary of The Bill. Most people have probably heard of Doctor Who. The Bill is a British police procedural TV show which ran for 26 years. It ran from 1984 to 2010. And apart from a few years where some idiot executive producer decided to turn it into a soap opera, it was a very good piece of intelligently written drama. And then there were the 4 soap opera years, which still had good stuff in them, but you did get like, oh, so-and-so's now decided to leap into bed with so-and-so, have they? Yeah, that doesn't undermine their character at all. But anyway, a big fan of both shows. I've always liked Doctor Who. The Bill I discovered during lockdown. One of our free catch-up services put all 26 years worth on, and I watched all of them. And in fact, I've since bought them on DVD from Australia. 2,404 episodes plus, I think, 24 episodes of spin-off series as well. So, so I've decided to write crossover fiction. I'm not going to go into the details as to why. Now, well, basically, I was struggling to write. I've had a difficult couple of years, and I was struggling to write. And a friend of mine suggested I write something that was fun. You know, not with the intention of even considering it for publication, just something I would enjoy writing. And so that's what I'm doing. And every now and then I'm going to return to it. And that's what I'm doing right now. So let me just open the file. So for those of you who have watched Doctor Who, this story is set within the Doctor Who time frame. It's set in a 2005 episode called Father's Day. However, that episode was, although it was shown in 2005, it was set in 1987. So I'm just going to do a bit more work. Let's just check my texty thing is working. It appears to be. Yes, it is. So that should appear on the screen in a second. Yes, it has. How many people are watching? Oh, a handful of you. Hello. Do feel free to contribute. You can drop in the chat, drop in the chat room associated with Twitch, or if you'd like to talk to me in voice, let me just activate this. You can go to my Discord server, the details of which are in the QR code in the top corner of the screen. And if you go to my Discord server, there is a live audio show. It's downloading an update again. Discord, there's a surprise. Yeah, it's there's a live audio channel, which, well, there isn't, but in a few seconds there will be a live audio channel, and you can literally drop in and have a chat with me. Here we go. Right, let's just go to it. Let's get the channel up and running. Yeah, there we go. There we go, live audio channel up and running. So feel free. Right, anyway, let's do a little bit of work on this. This is actually writing now, so it's, yeah. Lots of tried tracking as late. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've only just seen your comment, Nova. Good. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. I do a podcast every day now, just a 6 minute thing about my writing, which has helped me focus and not lose. Because with what happened to my friend a couple of weeks ago, normally I would have just stopped and wouldn't have been able to write for months. So, yeah, it's helped. Nuisance. How do you spell nuisance? Alexa, spell nuisance.
Nuisance is spelled Nuisance. Do you want that one more time?
No. Hello, Tanshi. How are you? Yeah, goodish day. Yeah. Just doing a little bit of fun writing. This isn't for an important project. It's just a bit of fun, really. Um, Need to find my notes about this project. No, that's good. Yeah, it's weird. I rarely have to think about motivations because the characters kind of appear fully formed. I kind of once I've decided who they are, they almost take over from that point. It's almost like they tell me their motivations. It's very strange. I mean, I've had situations where I've had to rewrite stuff because the characters wouldn't do what I wanted them to, which sounds like a load of nonsense. And I've heard loads of authors say that. And before I started writing, I used to think, oh yeah, that's just a line. That's just BS. But no, it's true. Sometimes I have to write the story around what they will do, and on a couple of occasions, that's actually created a better story for me. Anyway, certainly in still life, I had a situation where characters were supposed to be at the end of a relationship. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think I've. Well, I suppose I have sort of done romance and ish romance narratives. They've been part of a story. It's kind of what I was going to just say, actually. I had two characters that were supposed to be towards the end of their relationship. They were supposed to be very close to splitting up. And it was quite important to the story that by a certain point in the story, they were no longer together as a couple. So when the events pushed them closer together and they started to work out their differences, it was like, oh, you horrible people, because I've still got to get you apart by this time in the book. And the way it happened actually was one of my favourite twists in the book in the end. And weirdly, I didn't have to do any rewriting because I'd unconsciously laid the grounds for it, which was great. Being a friend and babysitter on the other. Sometimes there's doubts about maintaining that or guessing what the other wants. Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, in real life, I've been in that situation. You don't want to miss an opportunity, but you also don't want to spoil a friendship. So yeah. It keeps changing June Ackland's surname to Auckland. Yeah, I don't know. I'm flirting. I find very. I struggle to write it. I certainly can't do it. Why does it keep doing that? It didn't do it before. True. Why is a kitchen open? Yeah, that does seem a bit weird. Where are you at? Is it some kind of... I guess, is it some kind of restaurant or diner or pub or something? It does seem a bit weird to have the door open before you serve anything. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, what's the point? I mean, if they're not serving anything in that hour, you might as well just have the doors closed. Right, okay. Oh, okay. So it's a local... It's a local store that's become a little chain with three. That's quite nice. I like it when little businesses do quite well. I mean, we've got in the town where I live, I've got loads of coffee shops, but most of them are little independent ones. There is a Costa coffee, but I try not to use it. I'd much rather use, a local business. Going to sneeze. Excuse me. Yeah. There's a little local one in my town, which is a comic store and a coffee shop, and it did actually open a second site in sort of the next town called Rugby, but it was there for a long time. But it's the second store's closed now, which is such a shame because I like them. Um, okay, police use it to squat. Does squat mean so? Does that mean the same thing here as it does there? So squat for us is where people live illegally without paying rent. But I'm guessing that's not the same meaning. Loiter. Oh, got you. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello, Bosusati, and I'm using the censored thumbnails Twitch has now. I don't really do thumbnails, so. Oh, are they the little like the icons to show you what's on the stream? I'm getting irritated with my software today. Okay, auto. Okay. I thought you were flying today. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm off to China. And then back on Tuesday. Oh, bless you. But from what you said yesterday, it sounded like you weren't totally sure. But that's still a shame. It's better to be offered it, even if you don't want it, isn't it? I was hoping. I mean, with the rapidity between you applying and getting the interview, I was hoping that I was hoping that they really needed someone, which usually gives any candidate a better chance if the search goes on. Well, at least you've got a bit of time on your hands. At least you've got till August. Clearly not. That's good. Yeah, I was going to do a second writing stream last night, but I wasn't really in the mood. But I'm doing it today. I might even finish the first draft of this little story today because it's not a very long one. Sabrina Carpenter is I don't know where she's from, but she's certainly got the best selling. She's got a song in the chart. It's actually our number one single at the moment called Espresso. I don't know where she's from. She was certainly in the UK over the weekend because she was playing at a festival run by BBC Radio 1. Let's have a look. Oh, you've had an idea that might be shocking if you go with it. Okay. Shocking usually means something bad is going to happen to one of your characters, I'm guessing. Let me just have a look at Sabrina Carpenter. I quite like her single, actually. I genuinely do. Oh, so she's American. Oh, I didn't realise she was an actor as well. As I say, her current single is quite good. An extra character death. Oh dear. Ah, well, I never liked Sam Snyder anyway. I'm joking, I did like him. And also, fairly sure he's safe. Someone just as important. Ouch. Well, obviously, it can't be Miss Trent or. Sorry, it can't be Miss Trent because there's no society without her. It can't be. Obviously, it can't be Maxwell or. God, brain's gone dead. It can't be Maxwell and Miss. Oh, brain's gone. Yeah, it can't be them because they're not in the book because they're abroad in separate countries. God. Mr. Locke? Oh, I can't guess. I don't want to know. Love sitting on a three-legged, four-footed chair. It rocks. It literally does. Yes. I mean, like your big four. Your big four are. Oh, you've got me overthinking now. Hang on. Miss Dexter was the name that escaped my brain for some reason. I mean, like the big four are Snyder, Miss Trent, Mr. Maxwell, and Miss Dexter. And they are the four biggie characters. I mean, Mr. Locke is important. He's the next big one, but you wouldn't, would you? Or Dr. Weeks. Oh, it's got to be Weeks or one of the Locks, isn't it? Anyway, yes. I won't overthink. if it's necessary to the story, then I don't see that it's. I don't see why not. I can't imagine it's. I can't imagine it's. I'm suspecting that poor old Weeks isn't going to make it to the end of book 10. But I think there's more to do with him, unless you've spent a lot of the stuff you're writing currently exploring this background of his or resolving that story. So I can't imagine it's him, because otherwise you've done all that setup for nothing, which leaves the Locks. And either of them going at this point would be shocking. Probably more so Dr. Locke, because in terms of characters, there's redundancy there because you've got Dr. Weeks that can do some of the same stuff. So from a storyline point of view, you could absolutely get away with it, but it would be really shocking because reading it, the assumption is that she's a born survivor and it's actually Mr. Locke. Yeah, I'll shut up now, but I would be interested to see what you've decided to do there. Cool. I don't think anyone will. It's how I don't think any of your readers will hate you for doing something. I think they may be sad, but there's nothing wrong with a book making you feel sad. Take care. Thank you. I wasn't actually going to, this is interesting, I wasn't going to have the Doctor appear in this. Right, I need to actually have a quick look at this scene in the episode now. Okay, there are no Sunhill police officers there, but I'm hoping it's directed in a way that you're not totally sure there aren't. So I can find iPlayer. Let's make sure the volume is turned down. Right, there's that moment. Sorry, I'm just watching the scene that Doctor's just reappeared. Go to him quickly. So now Rose is running out of the... So it's a leg that she would see, not an arm. Okay, from that angle. So this is all tight close-ups of Rose and her dying father, so there could very well be police officers attending. Sorry. Rushing towards them. June and Reg, he's just died. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to listen to this for a second.
The driver was just a kid. He stopped.
So it cuts there. Do we see what happens
He
there?
waited for the police. It wasn't his fault. For some reason, Pete just ran out. People say that was this girl. And she sat with Pete while he was dying. She held his hand. Then she was gone. Never found out who she was.
Right, let's find Yorkie Smith. Um, No, wrong series, wrong crossover. I will never do an EastEnders crossover, mainly because it's already been done. Now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was not concentrating. I was just so into what I was doing. I wasn't noticing the comments about these changes in my name. Often it should be responded to as essentially pompous and shallow. That's in Florence and the night. Sorry, I'm just writing the last little scene. And I might be able to get this edited and put on my website next month, which is the plan. I guess. Now, I'm going to use the same code they use for the Doctor in that same series. Let's have a look. Which episode was it? I think it was Aliens of London. Don't want to listen to it. Just flicking through this episode now because there's a particular code they use when somebody mentions the Doctor. And then they send unit after the Doctor. So I'm now fed and caffeinated. Time to sleep. You're Chicago, aren't you? So it's what, 9:20 in the morning? You've been working nights then? Nine in the morning, or is it 8? I can't remember the time difference. Oh, just awake. Okay. Now, this is the scene I'm looking for. I can't put the volume up, but she phones up and goes on about the police box. And
It's called the Doctor. It's a box. A blue box. He calls it a TARDIS.
oh, I thought it was more subtle than that. I thought they called it something else. Oh, that's disappointing. Maybe I'm thinking of a different episode. Let me Google it. Where's the Doctor code 9? Code 9. So I'm going to call it a Code 9. Just reading that through. And now later at the end of the leave, Hackett and Hollis handed over their pocketbooks to Sergeant Robert Cryer. They went to the collector to change out the uniforms. Cryer sat down and glanced through the books. They seemed fine. They were up to date and detailed. He was about to rush out to the clerks and return them when a detail caught his eye. He glanced at it. According to the notes, there was an enigmatic doctor at the scene of Tyler's death. What made it really stand to him was the comment Hollis had written down from Mrs. Edwards about the police telephone box. He grabbed the pocketbook and dashed from his office towards the back corridor with the change rooms containing. This does need editing. He got this as Hollis was coming out. "Hollis!" he yelled, trying to get his attention before the man left the building. Hollis cried, "Yes, Sarge, everything all right?" Cryer nodded. "Yeah, your pocketbook is fine. Miss Edwards said it was a police box. Did you check it out?" Hollis nodded. "Yeah, we walked past Miss Edwards alleged it was after the death of Mr. Tyler, but there was nothing there." "You sure?" Hollis laughed. "I think I'd notice a bloody great Metropolitan Police box, Sarge." "Sure you would," said Cryer sarcastically. He handed the pocket back to Hollis. "Thanks, Reg." Hollis looked nonplussed. "You're welcome," he said. Cryer returned to the sergeant's office. Sergeant Peters was on duty in the CAD room, and Penny was still off sick after his shooting. Cryer looked up and down the corridor, then opposite to the inspector's office. Nobody seemed to be about. Cryer closed his office door behind him and went to his jacket, which was hanging on the wall. From an interior pocket, he pulled out his personal address book. Turning to the page marked "You," he started dialling a number, watching the door carefully as he did so. He waited for the call to connect. "Hello? This is Corporal Robert Cryer. This is Robert Cryer, former corporal at unit. Code Greyhound 45182. I have a possible Code 9 to report." That's it. That's all it needs to be. And that's the story. There we go. So that is another very... Well, it's not really Sergeant Cryer-centric. He appears in the scene at the end because he's the linking bit. But yeah, that's almost ready for me to publish on my website. I'm going to do an edit sweep, but these are short stories, so I don't feel the urge to make these as slick as the novels. Hang on. Why is that not working? Let's just do that. Yeah, let's go back to that screen. So I did have English Hikikomori printed up. So very pleased with it. Let's just... So I've been flicking through this in order to just get an idea. Well, I need to produce a synopsis. But no, I'm very pleased with it. I actually read a bit of it yesterday, and it still reads really well. I don't think there's any more editing he's doing to it. Right, the only thing I haven't done today is me pod. Let's do me podcast. Let's just see what episode number we're on. Now, I'm actually going to do the podcast on my phone because it seems to be much, much easier on my phone. So let's just do that. Right, sorry. So what do I want to talk about today? I know what I'm going to talk about. Okay. Right, let's just quickly do this. So let's open up the app. So I've done 35, so this will be episode 36. Excuse me. Hello and welcome to the Diary of a Wannabe Writer. It's Wednesday the 29th of May and this is my 36th podcast. Isn't that absolutely crazy? And I'm doing a weird thing today. I'm recording it on my phone, but I am still doing a live stream at the same time, although we are towards the end of the live stream. I have just finished writing the first draft of my short story, which is a Bill Doctor Who crossover. It's called Premonitions and it's largely based around the events in the series 1, the Christopher Eccleston Series 1 Doctor Who story, Father's Day, about the death of Rose Tyler's father, Pete. And it's just about the police who get involved in it. And it's quite nice. I've watched the episode. There's nothing in the story that contradicts what happens in the episode. But it's quite nice and timey-wimey, as they would say in Doctor Who. So I've just finished that. This is going to be interesting because I'm away for the next 6 days. I'm in China. Now, sometimes it's quite difficult to do a podcast in China. So my intention is to do a podcast every day that I'm there. Tomorrow's will be from home because I'll do it before I leave. But the 5 days the 4 days in the middle where I'm in China, it could be tricky to break the Great Chinese Firewall, but we shall see. But that's my intention, to do a podcast every day. But if for some reason I can't, I will be back on Tuesday the 4th, I think will be the next day that I can come in. So basically I intend to edit my short story and that will go out on my website in June. I'm going to try and do one short story in part of this crossover series each month. So I've written the June one, and I now don't need to think about it until towards the end of the month for the July one. And it doesn't matter when I write it, as long as I finish it in the relevant month. Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to talk about quickly today. I just want to talk about how good wonderful customer service is. So this will be of no help to anybody unless you live very close to me. But I've made a very conscious effort recently not to buy things from Amazon. I don't like the way they treat their staff. I don't like the fact that they're immune from paying, or they've managed to find a way of being immune from paying tax. And yes, you can save a bit of money through Amazon, but I'm at the point in my life where I'd rather spend a little bit more money and have good service. There's a couple of things that have made me think that. So the last thing I bought from Amazon was I bought a Babylon 5 Blu-ray box set that was released, and they gave me, and I pre-ordered it ages in advance, which can be problematic when I'm away a lot, but it just so happened that the day it was due to be delivered, I was at home. I was going away the next day, but I was at home. And so I waited for it, and I waited for it, and I waited for it, and then I got an email saying that they'd attempted to deliver it, but there was nobody home. And I'm sat where I am, you can't see this, but the door you can see behind me if you're watching the live, the live video, just on the other side of that door that I'm pointing at now is my front door. That's the door they would have had to knock on to tell me that the parcel arrived. They didn't. I also have a doorbell. They didn't use that either. In short, I don't believe they properly attempted to deliver that delivery. And I phoned them up and said, look, I've been waiting all day. They have not knocked on my door. Can you please make sure it's delivered today? And if you don't attempt to re-deliver it. I don't want it. And in the end, they didn't re-deliver it, and I just got a refund, and I ended up buying it from HMV, which is proving to be not as good as I was hoping it would be either, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, so I made a decision not to buy anything more from Amazon, and recently, I say recently, it's probably been there almost a year now, but the town I live in, a little town in the Midlands called Daventry, hasn't had a bookshop for years, and then last year, I'm not quite sure when, because it took me quite a long time to notice it was there, a bookshop called Suddenly opened up on a street in the town, and it was several months before I discovered it, but when I did discover, and it was this year that I discovered it, so they'd been open a few months before I realised they were there, but once I did, I decided, you know what, I've got a bookshop in town, why on earth would I ever buy any books from Amazon again? And I've stuck to that. The only books I will ever buy from Amazon will be my friend Tani's books, the Bow Street Society books, because she releases them through Amazon. So, not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. I have to buy those through there. And if there's anything anything I can only buy through Amazon, I will allow myself to. But I'm no longer a member of Prime, and I haven't bought a single item from Amazon this year. And we're towards the end of May now, so that's pretty good. Now, one of the things I started during lockdown was I started reading Terry Pratchett's book series, Discworld, and I bought the first 5 books. And a few years back, they released these beautiful hardback editions of all of the books. Now there are 40 of these books, and I bought the first 5, and I suddenly thought, you know what, I want the rest of these, and I started looking for them, and there were a couple that were close to being out of print. You know, a lot of the distributors only had a few copies left, and I thought, I need to do this now, because if I don't, there's going to be some go out of print, and I will be really annoyed with the fact. And rather than buy them through Amazon, which would have been a little bit cheaper, I bought them through Suddenly Books. And what I did was I said to them, well, let's do it in 2 batches. So I gave them a list of 16, which was the first batch, and a list of 15, which was the second batch. And they have been superb. A handful of the books, well, actually, no, quite a large proportion of the books were arriving into them damaged, and they weren't standing for it. They sent them back. And there's one book, I think Eric, which is the very short Discworld book. I think they ordered 5 copies before they got one that was in good condition. The rest, because they're nice hardbacks, they had damages to the cover, or bends or scrapes or scratches, and literally that book they ordered 5 copies of for me before they got one that was in a condition. It wasn't even me being demanding, they wanted it to be right for me, so they ordered that many, and sent the others back until, you know, copies in a decent condition arrived. Their service has been absolutely superb. They've looked after me. I've bought these 31 books through them. I regularly buy other books through them as well. I'd bought other books in the series, 1 or 2 here and there, but it was when I realised, I could miss the last few if I don't get a move on and order them quickly, that made me decide to order them pretty much in the same month. So I've done them good business, but they have really looked after me. Their communication about what's available, what's arrived, what's the problems with certain books, has been absolutely superb. So if you are in the Midlands and you want to go to a good bookshop, go to Suddenly Books in Daventry. I'm going to get you their website. He says Suddenly, can't even type. I still can't type. I've written in sun, not sun. So suddenlybookshop.com. They are wonderful, great customer service. They have crafty bits in there as well. They sell wool and other bits and pieces. They have book clubs a couple of times a month. They are absolutely superb, and they totally have my loyalty now, and I will not be buying books elsewhere. Unless, as I said, the caveat is that I can only, if it's somewhere, I can only buy them, like Tani's books, the Bow Street Society books, which are released directly through KDP, and as such don't have an ISBN. But anyway, so that's me for today. No more real updates on the writing. I'm basically going to work on my cover letter over the next few days. I emailed my synopsis to Tani, and she's gone through it and says it looks okay. So we are slowly but surely getting closer to doing a submission. I will keep you up to date. So hopefully I'll be able to do the podcast from China, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow, because I can do my last one from the UK. And then, as I say, there's a chance I might disappear until the 4th. Hopefully not, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. Thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye. Right, that's the podcast done. I'm just going to see if there's any. What I like about this is I can literally now, so there's the waveform of the podcast. I'm just going to zoom into it and just make sure there's no big gap on the beginning, because I can wipe that off if need be. So as you can see, there is a bit of a gap at the beginning, so I'm just going to trim it. There we go. And then whack the end, spin, 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 and trim it a bit there as well. There we go. Save. Add a bit of background music. Let's choose something at random again. There's one called Plum King. What does that sound like? That'll do. That'll do. That's discerning, isn't it? Right, press save. Create a new episode. What's this segment called? The segment is today's date, 290524. Add recording to episode. And it's in the process of adding the music. Just need to add opening and closing credits, which I've already saved on here. Ooh. So let's have a look. So I've got opening credits, closing credits. I've got the body of the episode that's just processing. That's good. It's just adding the background music. We'll keep talking whilst it does that. And as soon as it's done, I will put in the episode title. It says here, encoding overload. Nah. Right, publish. Enter title. What did I say? It was 36. Beautiful Terry Pratchett hardbacks. With a capital B. That was the 29th. I talk briefly about the progress of my latest short story, as well as some wonderful customer service I have received from a local bookshop. Talk briefly about the progress of my latest short story, as well as some wonderful customers I've received from a local bookshop. Season 1, episode 36. No, 36, not 39. Right, podcast is published. If I go along to the website to let's just have a look. Spotify for podcasters. There we go. Let's just check that it is actually. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button there. Never mind. Well, I haven't. I pressed the right button. I just should have got rid of that. So let's have a look at episodes. Episode 36 is published. I've got a random topic which I might use as my podcast tomorrow, just so I haven't got to record one tomorrow, or I can record one for tomorrow later, and then it'll be interesting to see how it goes after that. Right, that is basically me done for today. So I shall edit my short story in China. Hopefully you'll be able to see me do that, but the Great Chinese Firewall might prevent me. And again, hopefully I'll be able to tell you what I'm doing via the podcast, but again, that might also be difficult. We shall see. Thank you very much, Itanchi, for watching. Also, thank you to Tani, or to Bow Street Society. I know she's gone now. I know she's not here now, but thank you for popping in earlier. That's me done. Take care. I will see you, hopefully, from China in the next few days. Bye-bye.